So in this video, we are going to create a simple counter app in React. So this counter is just basically increasing numbers from our default of 0, going up and going down. So just to demonstrate, we can increase this one to 12, then decrease it. Then our reset button should essentially reset everything to default, that is 0. So let's get into it. So first I'll create a folder. This folder I'll call it counter app for our counter application that we want to create in React. I'll just name it counter. With the folder created, I'll just open Visual Studio Code. Then from Visual Studio Code, I'll open the folder that I've created in the desktop. But for this case, I had already opened it. So you just, if you want to open a new folder that you have created, just come and click open folder. So with that setup, I can now click Control backtick to open the terminal, ready to install a React application. And let's head over to Vite to install React. So Vite is a new method of running application. So in this case, we are going to use React. So just copy this snippet, then head back to Visual Studio Code and paste. And change here to React. And because we want to remain in the same folder, we'll just replace that with a period. Then click enter. I will then proceed to follow the instruction npm install to install the packages that come with the installation. So I'll just wait for it to complete, then I run dev so that we can see our default application. I will now run the npm run dev so that we can see our app browser. So for this, I'll just control and click. It should open in our browser, and this is the default application. So going back to VS Code, just I'll skip the part of explaining the folder structure and just cut to the chase and do our application for today, which will be counter app. So I'll select everything here, then delete. So for our application, I'm just going to create a component, a counter component, and in this case, I'm going to use usestate. And I'm not going to dwell much into styling, but main functionalities of React. So it's just a build-up. This is the simplest form of application you can make with React. But going forward, I'll be building up on this to make more complex application. So just hang tight and follow. You can code along as I continue. So there are two ways of writing a React component. The first one, you can start by writing a named function. For instance, in this case, let's write up. Then we have a return. it then should have a semicolon. Then inside this return we can have a div. Then here we can have hello. So after having that, in order to utilize this component in another component, we must export it. Have export default, then the name of this component, which is up, then closed by a semicolon. The other one is by just having this default keywords before the component itself. So in our case, we are going to use that one. And just to have a correct styling, let's just use the default CSS that was originally here. .css. So let's just look at our browser to see if the changes have been reflected. You can see our hello. So we are going to create our counter app just to see how that one will turn out. Counter. Then before counter we'll have two buttons. We'll have a button before and after. Button. This will be a positive button. Then afterwards we can also have a reduction button. So let's see if the changes have been reflected. As you can see, we have this positive and this negative. So this button should have functionalities. So in this case, we'll create two functionalities, which are essentially functions. So the first function is for increment, the second function is for decrement. So function, let me name it handle increment, just being descriptive of our function. So for this function we'll have that. Then for the second one we'll have function handle in decrement. Decrement, this is for minusing values. So in order to make changes, we need to have a state, the use state that modify our state and changes the data values. So in this case, we are going to use state. First, I'll import it. State. From React. So for our case, we'll have const, and we should have count, a variable, and set count that will be modifying our variable. So this one should be equal to state, and our original state should be 0. Let's use 0. Then here, for instance, we should have because we want to place our variable inside here, and it will be changing. We'll use these curly braces and put count. the variable that we will be changing over here. So for handle increment, going to count, set count to increase count by 1 on click. Then for our increment, we can have set count 1, and we should implement on click on our button so that they can accept the function. Click should have handle increment, and here should have on click also. Should handle increment. So let's test our application. You can see our counter is now working very well. So that is much of it. So we can improve this function by using current standard that use previous count to modify and avoid some abnormal behaviors in the browser. So we'll just use previous count. This set count can accept function as above. So as an argument. So for instance, we'll have pre count using the same wording here over here, and then setting it to count plus 1. Then we can have the same one over here. It should actually be previous count also. The same thing should be here, previous count, then should set this one to previous count, then decrement it by 1. So essentially this should have the same functionality as before. As you can see, it is still working. Apart from this, we can have a reset button to reset back the values to 0. So to implement a reset button, we can have a function handle reset, handle reset, then should have a set count. Then because our set count can accept a function as an argument, we are going to have this function of to 0. So if we come back, let us implement first the reset button. Have on click should accept the handle reset function. So let's see if our app is still working. Reset, yes, so our reset button is working, our decrement is also working. So this is basically it. Thanks for watching. Just if you are watching this video for the first time, subscribe, like, and share, and also look forward to my upcoming videos on more complex application on React. Thank you very much.